In a world swallowed by darkness and despair, dark energy surges, pounding violently against the magical barrier. The protagonist, Archmage Kim Jin-woo, grips his glowing staff with intense determination. His gaze is fixed steadily on the swirling purple vortex of decay. Ha! This damn corrosive destruction. The planet Arzilon is being consumed by the erosion of destruction. It creeps forward slowly but steadily, corroding everything it touches. At this point, it is no exaggeration to say that about 90% of Arzilon's territory has been destroyed. Thanks to the magic barrier I developed, the few remaining kingdoms have been able to hold on, but the pure mana stones powering the barrier are running out, so it won't last much longer. 3 years at most. The day that barrier collapses, Arzilon will truly be finished. The suppressed erosion will surge, and countless monsters will devour the last of every living creature, summoning me to another world just to face the end of the world. Emerging from the forest, a pure figure approaches. She speaks, Master of the Wizard Tower, Immortal Mage and Glorious Lord of Rainsord, Lord Jin-woo. He speaks softly, you can drop all those flashy titles. This world is already in ruins, what use are they now? The protagonist's loyal disciple replies, yes, my lord. I have warned you many times that personally facing the erosion at night is far too dangerous. The protagonist grumbles at this, I've only just reached the door and you're already nagging. So, what's the matter? Maintaining a serious attitude, Tyrus reports, an urgent order has just been issued. If they are calling you out of seclusion, the situation must be very serious. Looking back at the surging chaos, the protagonist nods in understanding. I figured as much, but I don't have any other solution. She continues, in any case, you are the only one who can move freely in the eroded lands. They must be desperate. Jin-woo reflects on the harsh reality. The natives of Arzilon cannot survive long in the eroded lands. No matter how strong they are, if they stay there too long, even their souls will be swallowed. I am the only one completely unaffected. That's right, I am the only outsider. My soul is different from those in Arzilon, therefore, the erosion cannot touch it. And when I wipe out the source of the erosion, I become even stronger. Lowering his eyes, Jin-woo wonders, but what can one person really do? Perhaps if I had an army of 100,000. She adds, besides you, my lord, the only one immune to the erosion must be some legendary hero. This time I will send another non-attendance notice. Nodding in agreement, while Tyrus looks back and replies, even if you die, as long as we have a new body ready, you will just be resurrected, so don't worry about anything. If you sneak into the eroded lands again, next time I will forge your new body into a cute girl. Well, being a cute girl wouldn't be too bad, the protagonist says nervously. Her tastes really are unlike anyone else's. Dismissing the joke and looking at him with genuine concern, she advises, anyway, please get some real rest. Slightly turning his face away, the protagonist thinks to himself. On Earth, I basically lived on Americano drips and worked overtime until I died. In Arzilon, I created magic and fought the erosion with all my might. Now that I think about it, I have never had a proper rest. This barrier will crumble in 3 years when the magic stones run out. And when that happens, this world will perish. I just want to let go of everything and rest. Suddenly, a brilliant beam of light descends from the sky, enveloping him. As he opens his eyes in shock, staring at his own glowing hands, raw energy surges through his veins. The protagonist is stunned. This light. A divine pillar of blue energy explodes around him, hurling soil, rocks, and debris into the air. The protagonist stands watching in stunned silence. I can feel an overwhelming power. Absolute. My soul has awakened into a transcendent being. I could not achieve this even after trying my best for decades. And now, when I finally let go of everything, it comes to me on its own? Well then, let's see. Reaching his hand toward the swirling dark vortex in front of him, he stares intently at the portal. He reads the glowing magical text that details its power. Soul Portal. A portal connected to the home of the soul, which can be kept open at all times and can be entered in soul form. Looking at the glowing soul, his body separating from his physical form, Jin-woo is contemplative. Can enter that in soul form? Another screen appears. Through the soul portal, you can cast this spell and showcase your power as you wish. It seems like something that can only be enhanced by the power of the soul. Without a second of hesitation, his glowing soul rushes straight into the tear in space, leaving behind all earthly burdens. Let's go. The light is blinding as he enters. As soon as he opens his eyes, the protagonist realizes he is floating high above a bustling modern urban area on Earth. Gazing at the towering skyscrapers and the familiar blue sky, the invisible soul is astonished by the passage of time. October. Has it really been 100 years? I have returned after a century. Yet the time difference since I fell into that other world seems to be non-existent. Even the smartphone models don't look that different from back then. Is it because the dimensions have been completely severed, or have I shifted back in time? If that's the case, then my home. Standing in front of what used to be his old apartment complex, the protagonist is momentarily disappointed. I have never seen this building before, so it's gone. The person named Kim Jin-woo has probably vanished from this world. Being wiped of all traces of his existence stings a little. Anyway, the magical density on Earth is very low, so if I stay in soul form too long, I'll just vanish. First, I need to find a body without a soul. The protagonist's gaze locks onto a large, luxurious mansion in the distance, as he senses a faint spiritual void. Rushing quickly toward the magnificent mansion, he decides, let's go inside. Passing through the walls, he discovers a young man with pale skin lying motionless on a medical bed, surrounded by the steady beeping of life support machines. Standing next to the bed, those close to that body are crying sadly. An elderly chairman with white hair and tears rolling down his face yells, "No, Jinwoo, how could you leave your old grandfather like this?" The doctor with glasses announces the sad news, "I am very sorry, Chairman. We tried our best, but we couldn't do anything more." Floating invisibly beside the grieving family, the Archmage checks the remaining vitality of the young man. All the hospital equipment is still running, and this abnormal energy is not something that can just be turned off. Ah, this guy. Lin. Yes, the youngest grandson of the chairman of the Ong Group, the head of the business world. A genius who earned multiple doctorates from prestigious universities abroad from a very young age. This is a bit far-fetched, isn't it? 100 years have passed and he still remembers those details. Oh, it's so strange. I've heard his health was very poor, but has he been lying here like this? This isn't poor health. He's basically dead, there's no soul left. In just a few more hours, his breath will stop completely. Sorry, but this body is exactly what I need right now. It is absolutely perfect for possession. With my magic, recovering this body will be as easy as pie. Swirling streams of blue light envelop the pale body on the bed, and then, his eyes flutter open. Those who see the scene are stunned in disbelief. The man in the brown suit stammers, "Jinwoo. How can this be? I thought everything was over. This isn't a dream, is it?" "Oh, Jinwoo." Tears and joy. The whole family and the doctor burst into jubilant celebrations. It really is a miracle. Thank God, praise be to you. Suffocated by the overly enthusiastic hugs of his new family, the Archmage groans in confusion. I am not feeling comfortable at all. The grandfather yells, "What is everyone doing?" Our Jinwoo says he's not feeling comfortable. Move away, hurry. Right now, he is finally left alone in the luxurious bedroom. The protagonist stretches his arms and legs, blankly staring at the ceiling. What a chaotic family. Well, it's understandable. From their perspective, the family's favorite grandson just returned from the dead. This reaction is to be expected. Honestly, it's not too bad. Wealthy, and the body is recovering very well. Living like this for a while might not be so bad, but right at this moment, Arzilan is step by step moving toward destruction. Is there really no way to save Arzilan from the erosion? Is there no way to destroy the core of the erosion, the thing that is constantly creating monsters? Perhaps tanks or armored vehicles would solve the problem? Even nuclear weapons would have no effect. What good is an armored division? Unless you constantly destroy every one of their hidden cores, the monsters will just keep resurrecting. I wonder if there is any practical way to stop such a catastrophe. Even if I rack my brain, I can't find a surefire solution. I should take a load off my mind. It's been a long time since I played this game. In my past life, even a super picky game director like me had to approve of this 7th Dragon Legend game. It has a classic motif plot: become a hero, gather teammates one by one, and save the world. But the story is really engaging. A hero? If only another hero had descended upon Arzilan instead of just me. If not just one or two, but hundreds of thousands of heroes appeared, Arzilan would be able to recover from the erosion extremely quickly. Suddenly, a notification appears asking if he wants to summon a second hero. Reading the text aloud, his voice trembling slightly with anticipation, the protagonist says, "Summon hero." Agree. He is startled by a mysterious notification sound suddenly ringing from the device. Summoning an Earth hero. Staring at the phone screen, the protagonist maps out his perfect plan, summoning people from Earth through the soul portal. Then we will make them think that Arzilan is just a game world. By creating a compelling story, we can lead them to wipe out the erosion. If the people from Earth, the ones immune to the erosion, help us, Arzilan can escape destruction. In my past life, I was a game developer, and now I am a mage, and the youngest son of the top conglomerate in the country. Once I've made up my mind, there is nothing I cannot do. Only 3 years left until the time of destruction. Let's give it a try. A moment later, at the impossibly long dining table where the wealthy family is gathered to eat, the grandfather speaks, "My youngest grandson, tell me anything you want to eat or do." Smiling at the pampering, Jinwoo seizes the opportunity. "Thank you, Grandpa. Grandpa, there is something I want to do." Cutting his fine steak, the grandfather stops, his expression darkening with worry. "Don't tell me you want to continue studying. Have you forgotten you almost died because of that?" Waving his hand to dismiss the worry, Jinwoo quickly corrects, "That's not it. I want to try developing a game." Those around him gape in shock, repeating the words "developing a game," while the grandfather trembles in his chair. "You mean those beep beep video games?" Jinwoo thinks anxiously, "Heck, is it not allowed?" Suddenly the grandfather gives a thumbs up, his face beaming with a teary smile. Jinwoo, those beside him chime in, "Games are great." Finally, Jinwoo has a hobby suitable for his age. The woman smiles and adds, "Right? It's not like a child has to talk about neuroscience or AI all the time." Wiping away tears of joy from his eyes stained by time, the grandfather replies, "Hick, this is the best news I've heard in a long time." "Do we have a game company among our subsidiaries?" Cheon-woo answers immediately, "We have FS Game." Although they have spectacularly ruined everything they touched, the grandfather declares, "That's settled then. That's my gift to you for your discharge. Just do whatever you want." Jinwoo is surprised, "Really, Grandpa?" Heading toward the company skyscraper, the protagonist outlines his business strategy and thinks, "I didn't expect him to support me so much. Having a company will be beneficial in many ways. Since it seems like a nearly bankrupt company, it's also perfect for me to do whatever I want." Smiling as he bows his head, "Thank you, Grandpa. I will do a great job." In a seamless shift of space, Jinwoo appears in the vast, sunlight-filled halls at his domain in Arzilan. "Is this the magic tower? It seems Tyrus moved it here. Fortunately, this is my original body. I placed a simple, automatic execution spell on the body on Earth. The remote control is also very smooth, even if it looks a bit odd, but it won't be a problem." "Then let's map out the plot for the game." Sitting hunched over a desk piled high with ancient books, High Elf Tia is frantically writing on a piece of paper. Sneaking up behind her, Jinwoo peers over her shoulder. "Are you in the middle of writing a new work?" She jumps out of her chair with a terrified scream, looks back and says, "That startled me, my heart almost popped out. So please don't suddenly start talking to me from behind again." The protagonist replies, "I'm sorry. Arsalan's greatest writer seems to be very busy." Tia explains her current project, "I am stitching together all the pieces I have written so far into one work. Since everyone is having a hard time, I want to create a temporary mental escape for them." After pulling up a chair to sit beside Tia, Jinwoo sincerely praises her kindness and the effort she has made. He thinks that, as expected, Tia has a very kind heart. Soon after, Jinwoo presents an interesting hypothesis. He tells her to imagine, what would happen if one day a complete stranger suddenly fell into the world of Arzilan? Hearing that idea, Tia is immediately intrigued and asks if it is the setting for a novel. Jinwoo smiles and confirms, "It's roughly like that. That person has no obligation to protect this world and only wants to enjoy themselves. Since they have absolutely no reason to be attached to this place, we cannot force them either. What should we do to make someone like that work to the bone for us?" Frowning slightly at that crude description, Tia remarks, "You are recruiting barbarians who only seek pleasure and enjoyment. First, they will need a sense of belonging." Waving his hand to correct her wording, the protagonist urges, "Not exactly barbarians. Tell me more specifically. Tia mentions the motifs she loves: love and tragedy. A barbarian who only craves pleasure meets an ideal, beautiful person, falls in love, and settles down here. And before their love can bear fruit, right before their eyes, that ideal person dies tragically. That is the moment you offer them comfort, know who the enemy is, and help them. Ha ha ha. Someone respected by the barbarians would also be very good. Like someone who used to be close to the barbarians meets a tragic death at the hands of the enemies. It would also be very effective if someone respected dies while trying to save the barbarians who are in danger. Emotional collapse and revenge, loss and regret. The pain of never being able to see the person you love and respect ever again. The thirst for revenge born from that. He silently praises her twisted innate talent. As expected of the greatest storyteller of Arzilan. She can think of it in a heartbeat. Love and tragedy. Love makes people blind, and revenge will become an incredibly powerful motivation. If I make them immersed in the characters and the game's plot and add a tragic backstory, they will act on their own. Still immersed in her own frantic writing frenzy, Tia mutters with a crazy smile, I want to see the barbarians' tears soon. Just seeing that scene is enough to make me full without eating. The protagonist interrupts, ahem. Tia snaps back to reality and replies, I'm sorry, I did it again. He continues, nothing to apologize for. Let's do a project together. If everything goes well, millions of souls will be able to read your story. She stammers at the mention of millions. The protagonist adds, even tens of millions or hundreds of millions are possible. What is it? Trembling with extreme excitement, Tia whispers, my writing reaching hundreds of millions of people? Well, the author is a true genius. She bangs her head on the table and screams, if that can happen, I will do anything. I will even become your slave. I don't care if my mind, body, and soul are stained and broken. Sweating profusely with worry at her overreaction, Jinwoo asks, have you always been writing stories in this state of mind? Tia declares her artistic philosophy, the purest things will be born from the most stained and broken places. The protagonist adds, let's stick to business. First is a beta test. I mean, imagine about 3,000 people who know absolutely nothing stepping foot in Arzilan. This number will grow over time. Let's create a motivation for them to get immersed and fight against the erosion. Tia exclaims, well, it's a pure fantasy novel. Do those entities come from a different civilization than us? Jinwoo confirms, that's right. The setting is Arzilan and the summoning point will be. Yes, let's choose Avent Village, which is planning to relocate to escape the erosion. Let's use this place as a tutorial zone, the starting point, and write that story. Tia, in a state of ecstatic bliss, monologues, Avent, the land where love and tragedy will begin. Just thinking about the barbarians being stained in emotional collapse is enough to drive me mad with excitement. Watching her fall back into a frenzy of writing, Jinwoo steps away quietly. Well, perhaps I should leave her like that for a while. Since Arzilan is already an existing world, if I have Tia's help to adjust the settings accordingly, the story will be finished quickly. As soon as the story is released, I will send the proposal to FS Game, but I probably won't be able to convince the employees with just a story alone. No matter how much of a genius Jinwoo is, they will definitely say I'm crazy. What I am planning is a completely immersive game world, where it guarantees a freedom just like reality, where one can do anything and become anyone. That is truly a combination of advanced technology that can only happen in science fiction and is impossible at present. However, since the soul portal is still only for one person, let's first make the story and a test video to show everyone. So, should I gather the actors? Connecting his mind to his loyal subordinates through a telepathic link, he asks, Hasman, do you hear me? He respectfully replies, I hear you very clearly, my lord. The protagonist continues, I am coming to Rainsword Castle right now, so bring Helon and Hana as well. There is something I need your help with for the sake of Arzilan. Hasman answers with unwavering loyalty, oh, yes, understood, my lord. The scene shifts to the magnificence of Rainsword Castle. Stepping through a swirling blue spatial rift, he stepped forward to see Hasman and two others waiting, bowing low. You have arrived, master, an embodiment of noble responsibility. A man who always dedicates himself to the territory. A man deeply respected by the people of this land, Baron Hasman aghast spoke. During your absence, I have fulfilled the duty of protecting the fiefdom with all my strength. Former Pope, Priest of the Light, Priest Helon added. May the blessings of Enla descend upon the Lord. Enla here is the goddess of light, everyone. The male protagonist offered a wry smile. Everyone has worked hard in their own positions. Hasman immediately replied, compared to the hardships of the master, what are our efforts? He. Jinwoo grumbled uncomfortably, I am speaking very nicely to you all. You look scary as hell, so please don't shove your faces so close to me. Stepping forward in silver armor, the Knight Commander Hena proudly declared, I am ready to sacrifice my life for Arzilan, my lord. Scanning the three of them with the eyes of a strict director, the male lead thought to himself, Hena is a beauty, so she's fine, but the other two look too much like villains to be used as protagonists. How on earth can one look like a venerable man and a former pope? If that's the case, then he lit his staff with crackling blue magic, opening a space. Hasman, you're pretty good at dark magic, right? Hasman respectfully replied, yes. But compared to the Lord, one like me isn't even worth a bug. Taking 2 cloaks from his spatial inventory, he ordered, that will do. You two, try wearing these. Immediately, the two were surrounded by power that roared at the sky. Oh my god, my lord, isn't this the attire of a dark priest? To have me become a dark priest. Merciful Enla, please forgive me. Blasphemy. It is truly blasphemy against the gods. He praised how well it suited the two of them and then turned his attention to the Knight Commander. And Hena is. Let me see. While she was confused, he calculated in his mind, this is too much. It's really too bulky. Female knights in games would usually pick up a ridiculously revealing leather bikini armor. The male lead ordered, try wearing this, Hena. The female knight commander exclaimed, huh? My lord. You want me to wear that? Seeing her looking resistant, the male lead leaned in close, his voice cold. For the sake of Arzilan, put it on. Right after that, Hena approached, her voice a bit shy, my lord, I have changed. Blushing deeply while exposing her body in the overly revealing outfit, Hena stood stiffly while Jinwoo's eyes widened with approval. Just as expected, it suits you. Or rather, it's absolutely perfect. The female knight then questioned, is this even considered armor? He explained the most sacred rule of the gaming world, remember this well. The skin exposure ratio and defense stats are directly proportional. Hena was bewildered, if I may ask, what kind of nonsense logic is that? He replied, it makes perfect sense. That is the law from my hometown, Earth. Hena muttered, what on earth is that place? Proudly looking at his freshly minted villains and his fantasy-style female knight, Jinwoo gazed at the team ensemble. The overall picture had emerged, but something was still missing. Since Hena is a knight, let's create a scene where she is protecting someone while facing those two. For example, a fragile and melancholic saintess. Should I contact Saintess Tisa? Imagining a 200-year-old wrinkled crone in the role of a tragic heroine, he immediately discarded the idea. Unfortunately, I don't think the saintess will fit. Suddenly, the joyful laughter of children echoed across the courtyard as they ran past. Catch me if you can. Sister Iri is running too slow. Tiredly chasing after them, a beautiful female succubus shouted, hey kids, you aren't allowed to play inside the castle where the Lord is staying. The children ran towards him, it's the Lord. Ah, the Lord. Panting from exhaustion, the succubus Iri pleaded, we apologize, my lord. The children ran into the castle on their own. Staring at her delicate features, flowing hair, and devilish wings, Jinwoo muttered, right, you will be the saintess. Iri screamed, huh? But I am a succubus. I am a useless race, incapable of doing anything other than seducing others. Smiling brightly at her perfect contrast, Jinwoo countered, fantastic. Then you are even more suitable. The succubus stammered, ah, blasphemy against the gods? The male lead gathered his chaotic cast. So, shall we start the performance right now? A while later, sitting regally on the magnificent throne of the magic tower, the Grand Wizard of Rainsord looked down at his kneeling mages. A blonde girl respectfully said, Master of the Magic Tower, mysterious Grand Wizard and glorious Lord of Rainsord. The male lead cut her off, you don't need to call me by all those titles. She immediately obeyed, yes, my lord. Just as you ordered, I have gathered all 130 of your disciples. But why is everyone dressed so strangely? Jinwoo explained, we are doing a bit of role-playing. She asked back, role-playing? He added, we must role-play to save Arzilan. She confusedly admitted, I have absolutely no idea what you mean. Sweeping his gaze across the vast hall with loyal mages, Jinwoo said to the entire crowd, before I explain everything, I have one thing to say to all of you. Not long ago, I awakened. I can even open the soul gate and contact another world. The mages cheered, oh, so you have finally awakened. Congratulations, my lord. Jinwoo immediately outlined his plan to save the world. I will summon heroes who are immune to corrosion through the soul gate. Heroes coming from the same world I came from. Your job is to ensure those heroes can fight in Arzilan. For now, set aside your current positions and duties. A mage timidly asked, then what should we do? Passing the magic orb down to the anxious, waiting mage, Jinwoo ordered, first, take this. It contains a video recording of all of you acting together. Make it feel more epic and sacred. Add more skeletons and make the background more detailed, and compress the video so it fits inside a small magic crystal. The mage didn't understand yet and stammered, yes, what was that? Looking down with a scary smile, he threatened, don't tell me a mage can't do that. Watching them panic with a confident smile, the male lead thought to himself, even if it looks completely overwhelming, they'll figure it out. Turning the impossible into the possible is the duty of mages. Set that aside for now. Everyone is wearing blue cloaks. They look just like Doraemon dolls in Jinwoo's room. Pointing authoritatively at his brand new workforce, he announced, that's right, from now on all of you are Magi Mond. They immediately asked, what is that? The male lead said with a smile, it's a creature from Earth that can make any wish come true. So my Magi Mond, make my wish come true. Solemnly, in perfect unison, the blue-cloaked mage corps shouted, yes, my lord. The scene shifts to the busy streets of modern-day Seoul, where luxury cars glide past towering skyscrapers. Stepping out of a sleek black sedan, he is dressed in an expensive suit, holding a silver metal briefcase in his hand. Thanks to the Magi Mond, I finished the test video in a flash. A burly man in a suit warmly greeted him. Hello, you must be Chairman Lee Jinwoo. I am Secretary Kim Han-soo, very pleased to meet you. Chairman Lee Woo-sung requested that I assist you. It is an honor to work with you. Jinwoo smiled politely. Oh, is that so? Also very pleased to meet you. Pointing towards the glass doors of the Grand Hall, Kim Han-soo reported, just as you requested, I have gathered all the staff in the meeting room. Stepping quickly beside him, he nodded, good, let's go up. The aging development manager of FS Game, Han Young-sun, stared at his phone while reading articles about the company's impending collapse. He agonized over the appearance of his new boss Lee Jinwoo, a genius who earned 5 doctorates in his early 20s. I heard he recently made a spectacular comeback, so why would he choose this dying company of ours? Could it be that he wants to save a dying company the same way he saved himself? Pushing open the meeting room doors, Secretary Kim loudly announced, the chairman has arrived. Striding into the room with an undeniable aura of absolute authority, the male lead flashed a charming smile. Gawking at the overwhelming presence of the young man, Han Young-sun stammered, ha? So this is Lee Jinwoo? His aura is truly astonishing. Jinwoo began the meeting. I am Lee Jinwoo. I probably don't need to reintroduce myself. Let's start the meeting. La Saga had to close last month. And your 30 billion won title failed before it was even released. The entire new development team has left to join NFSoft. He nervously replied, I am sorry, it's all my fault. Tears rolled down as he thought to himself, we're done for. Our results are so bad, we might all be fired. I knew it. He came here to close FS Game and fire everyone. Unexpectedly, the male lead spoke up, shocking the entire room. Good, I like it that way. Everything has collapsed, so now we can clean it all up and start from scratch. He immediately flattered him by saying the male lead was right. Jinwoo laid out his masterpiece. I have something I want to show you all. Everyone take a copy and read through it. Staring at the bold title on the cover, Development Manager Han Young-sun read aloud, Project Arzilan? The male lead gave a brief overview of the content. This is a proposal for a virtual reality game. It includes the setting, main plot, and some conceptual illustrations. So, read it and tell me what you think. The woman chimed in, this is an excellent piece of work. The world in the story is built very solidly and truly stands out. The black-haired man next to her continued, it has a medieval vibe, but at the same time is also very modern. Han Young-sun sweat anxiously, but it says the platform is VR. I don't think virtual reality games will sell well when VR technology isn't widely used yet. And it's virtual reality again. I think the public will be against it. Dismissing that old-fashioned worry with absolute confidence, Jinwoo reassured, don't worry. People won't even get a chance to touch it, because it will be sold out. Han Young-sun exclaimed, what? He stood up, clearly raising his voice to declare, I said exactly what I just said. I will turn this world upside down with this virtual reality game. Seeing is believing. Do you have a large room in this building? Han Young-sun quickly replied, yes. We have a motion simulation studio that has been cleared of all equipment. Jinwoo ordered, we are going there. Call everyone over. A moment later, dozens of confused and worried employees shuffled into a massive studio. An employee whispered to a colleague while suspiciously looking at the new chairman, virtual reality? I heard he's a genius, but he's definitely unusual. Do you think he's trying to trick us? Him? Why would he do that? Standing next to the male lead, Han Young-sun confirmed everyone was present. The male lead said comfortably, good. Turn off the lights, carefully placing the mysterious device on the floor. Everyone step back, then let's begin. As the cube suddenly hummed to signal operation, emitting a dazzling blue light, everyone covered their eyes from the intense eruption of mysterious data along with crackling blue lightning. The staff gasped, terrified as they watched a giant magical emblem glow and expand right beneath their feet, turning the concrete floor into rolling, lush green grass. Han Young-sun thought in surprise, a magic circle? Grass? What the hell is going on? Feeling a ghostly wind suddenly blow through the indoor studio, the developer looked around wildly. Huh? Wait, what is going on here? Looking up at the artificially projected blue sky, the entire staff screamed in horror as a giant crimson dragon roared right above them. The developers cried out, a dragon? Is that a real dragon? Run, everyone! Jinwoo raised his hand to soothe the chaos. Everyone, please calm down. It is only a hologram illusion. A hologram, in other words, virtual reality. This is the world where Project Arzelon takes place. The development manager asked, are you saying this is the world inside the game you designed? The male lead confirmed, that's right. It looks very convincing, doesn't it? The development manager then muttered, how can a technology like this even exist? Snapping his fingers loudly, he continued, now we will move to the main plot. A black hole appeared beneath their feet. The scene switched to another place. The light was gradually being obscured by the moon. A giant skeletal hand reached up. As the booming voices of Hasman and the former Pope echoed across the plain, boo haha, tremble, you mortals, haha, the power of darkness will destroy you all. My servants, enjoy the flesh of those mortals. Fleeing in genuine terror from the monsters rushing forward, the developers shouted to save their lives. Run! What the hell? Is that thing real? Chairman, that's really just a hologram, right? Hana rushed forward, screaming, everyone back off. A streak of speed appeared, as Hana easily sliced through the vanguard of skeletons with her sword, landing gently on the ground in a pure white cloak. Iri, the succubus who had now transformed into a saintess, radiated her divine aura. Don't worry everyone, the light will protect you. The two appeared like angels descending from heaven, mesmerizing everyone around. The staff cheered in extreme joy. It's the saintess. The saintess has blessed us. The holy knight has saved us. Watching his entire company staff raise their fists and roar in victory over a completely fabricated battle, Jinwoo smiled darkly in the shadows, thinking with perfect satisfaction, just as I expected, everyone is completely immersed. Everything is going exactly according to plan. Everything is going exactly according to plan. Now it is time for the climax. Hasman appeared from the brilliant blue flames of undead aura. Ha ha ha. It seems I have many fresh test subjects here. Now my servants, go tear those fools apart and enjoy their flesh. Rushing forward to protect the panicked crowd, Hana spoke up. Saintess Iri answered the call. I'm here. Everyone, please lend me the light within your hearts. Raising both hands in immersion, veteran developer Han Young-sun called out to his young colleagues, it seems they need our power. Raise your hands. The others chimed in, that's right. Let's combine our power together. Just like the 7 Dragon Balls, everyone, channeling brilliant golden lightning from their collective belief into her sword. Hana lunged straight at the skeletal army. Everything is for Arzelon. Raising their fists with absolute enthusiasm, the immersed developers cheered, for Arzelon. Thanks to the power of friendship, Hana shattered his defensive layer. Hasman pretended to stammer in disbelief. this is impossible. He fell backward before the blinding explosion of holy magic. Hasman, defeated, screamed, "A." Weak on the ground, he reached up to call for his ally like a Hollywood actor. "Lord of Greed, please save me." The former pope raised his hand, his voice gritty. "A weakling who gives up is of no use to me." The skeleton was completely swallowed while trying to scream one last time. The former pope turned to the onlookers. "Now it is your turn." Watching the dark magic sweep in, the developers gasped. He killed his own ally. "Kia, save us." The dark energy swallowed the room as they screamed in absolute terror. In an instant, the terrifying battlefield vanished, leaving the disoriented developers in the studio. The lights turned back on, along with a satisfied smile from Jinwoo. Jinwoo broke the silence. "So everyone, for a concept video, it's not too bad, is it?" Rushing towards their new boss in a frenzy, the staff became chaotic. "Is that really just a hologram? Boss, what on earth is happening? When did you develop this? Saintus, please let us see the Saintus one more time." Raising his hand to soothe the chaotic crowd, the male lead ordered, "Everyone, please calm down first." Adjusting his glasses to regain his composure, Han Young-sun took a breath. "Ahem, I apologize, boss. I got a little too excited. This is my first time experiencing virtual reality. But boss, is it really okay to reveal something as incredible as this? Isn't this one of the OM Group's trade secrets? The value of a virtual reality game is beyond imagination. If this news leaks out," smirking with absolute confidence, Jinwoo countered, "none of you believed in it until you came here yourselves, right? Go out there and tell everyone that FS Game is making a virtual reality game." Blinking at the audacity and truth in those words, Han Young-sun conceded, "Well, that's true." He asked the final question, "So, have you all decided to join me?" They immediately asked what the male lead needed them to do. Han Young-sun replied, "Just following you, boss, we will do anything. We would even follow you to the ends of hell." The male lead said happily, "Ha, fantastic. Then forget everything you know about game development. We will start from scratch using the new engine I created. Since there will be AI to assist you, learning it won't be too difficult. Let's conquer the gaming industry together. No, let's conquer the culture of the entire world. Together we will do it. Let's make history together." The room erupted in enthusiastic cheers from the developers. Shortly after, the internet exploded with articles declaring the future of the Korean gaming industry. Although skeptical netizens immediately filled the comments with ridicule. "Are you guys brain dead? LOL. What a joke. Everyone knows FS Game is toast. Who do you think you're fooling? Now it's just a playground for a chaebol brat. LOL." Sitting in his high-tech private lab reading the harsh online reactions, Jinwoo nodded. Just as expected, no one believes it. The phone on the table showed an incoming call from his grandfather. He answered casually, "Hello, grandfather." Speaking in a very worried tone, his grandfather asked, "Did you read the articles online?" He replied with a relaxed smile, "I skimmed through them." He grunted, "They are really having a field day insulting my grandson. If you want, I will have the legal team handle them immediately." Dismissing the concern with a light chuckle, Jinwoo reassured him, It's fine. It's a great way to promote the game, right?" His grandfather changed the subject. "Since you say so, by the way, how is the business going?" He replied with confidence, "Everything is going very well. We have just finished the beta test." Feeling sincere joy at his grandson's rapid progress, he said happily, "Oh, that is wonderful news." He thought to himself, remembering that the fishing skill had already been integrated. The male lead asked if he liked fishing. He laughed and replied, "Back in the day, I even caught sharks as big as a house. I once even fought a shark." Then he asked if he wanted to go fishing. From the other end of the line, he laughed and answered, I'd love to, but my back hasn't been great lately. I think I'll stay home and rest." He picked up the VR headset and said, "Then I have something I want to show you. I'll be over at your place right now." Late that night, inside the luxurious villa, his grandfather checked skeptically, "So, this is the VR device you made?" Jinwoo approached to help him prepare. "Yes. Just lie down and try it out. You will be extremely surprised, I guarantee it." His grandfather thought proudly, "I only intended to humor him a little, but the fit and design are far better than anything the OM Electronics Group came up with. My grandson is truly something else." The male lead asked if he was ready. He responded supportively, "Of course. let me see what you've got, pressing the activation button on the side of the glasses. Then I'll see you in Arzilan. A flash of digital blue light, blinding inside the glasses, suddenly transformed into the scene of a vibrant, sun-drenched magical forest. Looking down at his own incredibly young, muscular hands amidst the falling green leaves, his grandfather gasped in amazement. Jinwoo stepped behind him. "Welcome to Arzilan, grandfather." Turning sharply to face his grandson, he stammered in confusion, "Jinwoo, what is this? Where on earth are we?" He took items out from the spatial gate while saying, "You are inside the virtual reality game I am developing. Your in-game body is modeled after your appearance in your 40s. I wanted to make you even younger, but I couldn't find any reference materials." Staring at his perfectly restored, energetic reflection, he whispered in disbelief, "This cannot be. Virtual reality? So it's completely real?" Jinwoo confirmed, "I told you that you'd be surprised. Grandfather, you are the very first person to log into the virtual world I created." Astonished by the impossible sensation, he thought, "It's real. This is me when I was young. No wonder my body doesn't ache anymore. It feels truly wonderful." He asked, "This is more than just a surprise. It's on a completely different level. When did you research and build something like this?" Pretending to have a deep thoughtful look, Jinwoo lied smoothly, "Well, when I was in a vegetative state, I actually still had consciousness. While lying there, I had a lot of time to think. And that's how I came up with all these ideas. I was able to completely dedicate myself to my own thoughts." Squeezing his grandson's hand as he reached out, he was overflowing with pride. "Can you really do something like that?" Jinwoo changed the subject. "Anyway, let's go, grandfather, let's go fishing." Stepping out of the dense forest, they stood before a crystal-clear lake that made his grandfather exclaim, "Wow! What a beautiful lake." Taking out a sleek fishing rod and a chair from the spatial storage rift, he said, "Just like the mirror from earlier. This is unbelievable." The male lead replied, "It's magic. I'm designing it to be easy to use. So soon you will be able to do it yourself." His grandfather gripped the sturdy fishing rod with his restored muscles, thinking, "What a good rod, it feels exactly like the one I used many years ago." With a powerful motion, he cast the line far into the middle of the clear water. "Then watch closely, my grandson." As soon as the float touched the water, suddenly, the fishing line jerked forward with terrifying, brutal force, forcing him to flex his muscles to resist that massive weight. "You little brat, you're really strong, but I'm much stronger." With a powerful, authoritative jerk, he pulled a giant monster fish out of the lake. Staring in amazement at the giant fish thrashing on the rocks, he blurted out, "What is this?" Jinwoo clapped enthusiastically, "Wow, that's a giant catch. Truly amazing, grandfather." Looking at his own powerful hands, he realized the true weight of this gift. "I had accepted the cruel passage of time long ago, but how long has it been since the last time I felt this full of life? It's been so long, I can't even remember." Ha ha ha. Watching his grandfather enjoy his regained youth, he thought to himself, "Eventually I will bring the people of Earth here to protect Arzilan, but this isn't too bad either." The male lead suggested happily, "Grandfather, let's take a photo to celebrate this big catch. Strike a pose." Jumping onto the back of the giant fish, he eagerly agreed, "Oh, it even has a photo mode? Of course. Take one for me." "Oh hey haha, I feel full of energy." Late that evening, they sat by a campfire. "This is incredible. I can actually taste the food and feel full." Watching him enjoy the meal, Jinwoo replied, "Enjoy your meal, grandfather." Hearing a sudden rustle in the bushes, the male lead looked over his shoulder with slight surprise. A few people appeared. "I have never seen these people in Rainsord before." Holding his half-eaten fish, he asked curiously, "Is there anyone else logged in here besides us?" Jinwoo ignored them. "Oh no, they are just NPCs." He asked, "What is an NPC?" In the back, an elf tilted her head and muttered, "They use such strange words." The black-haired man spoke, "Drag these suspicious people before the Lord." Immediately, they manifested an aura of terrifying demonic power, consumed by crimson flames. Jinwoo glared at the subordinates, "Stop right there. I am discussing important matters with a VIP, so get lost." They realized the Lord was right in front of them, and fled into the dark forest at breakneck speed, screaming, "We apologize." Seeing the group suddenly run away, the old man wondered, "Is it a programming error?" Jinwoo said he guessed so too. He praised his project, saying that although it was still a bit rough, it had been built a lot, and asked how far the development progress had reached. The male lead explained the current scale: a starter village, a city, and a hunting ground. He continued, "We still have a long way to go, huh? From now on, I will fully support you, so focus entirely on the development." Smiling radiantly while calculating the company's massive advantage in his head, Jinwoo replied, "Thank you, grandfather. We will try our best." He felt a bit sad and asked, "By the way, are you planning to take this back?" Jinwoo clarified, "The connection device? There are still many things that need to be improved, so for now I need to take it back." He groaned dejectedly, "Ugh. This old man's body is aching all over. If something happens to me tomorrow, it wouldn't be a surprise." Jinwoo teased that pretense, "You said you were completely healthy except for your wounds." His grandfather grumbled, "I guess I'll just lie in bed and wait for the day I die." "Your grandmother is calling me already. Once you're old, you should just die and be done with it." Quietly sighing, Jinwoo relented, "For now, you keep it. I'll notify you when you can log in again." His grandfather's voice echoed, "Our youngest grandson is truly the best." Sometime later, inside the bustling modern offices of FS Game, development was progressing rapidly. To help players adapt to the parallel world, utility features had been developed and improved. The programming team was now used to the Magic Engine tool, helping to speed up system development many times over. Additionally, after building the initial main plot based on Tia's script, the graphic design team designed detailed appearances and backgrounds for every NPC character. Staring at a handsome blonde prince on his screen, a female employee was ecstatic. "Ha, Prince Lion, he is truly the character of my life. I really want to see him move in real life." Her colleague agreed, "Isn't that right? He is so handsome. If we go into Arzilan, we will be able to see him with our own eyes, right?" I heard only the directors and team leads get to beta test it. A bit startled by that sudden attention, Han Young-sun broke into a sweat as the brown-haired one added, "General Manager, I heard you haven't gone home at all lately? You're in the test room every day." Long-haired one chimed in, "Is playing alone that much fun?" Embarrassed, turning his face away to hide his addiction, Han Young-sun stammered, "I'm just working." Stride confidently into the office. The male lead announced, "Hello everyone. The connection device just passed the stability test." He continued, "That means production will begin soon, and one of the directors will have an important announcement." Han Young-sun told the whole room, "Oh that's right, everyone knows about Universe Unpack, the event to introduce new products of the On Electronics Group, right? Our company, FS Game, will also be participating. Everyone has endured a lot until now. All the criticism and insults aimed at the boss and our company, how painful they have been. Now it is time to turn all that into cheers and praise. Arzilan Saga will conquer the global game market." The developers screamed. He added, "Once the presentation ends, I will distribute the highest-end models to everyone. We will also conduct a large-scale internal test." The whole team roared with devotion. Jinwoo looked down at his vibrating phone. He read a string of constant messages sent from his grandfather, spamming non-stop, and he said that he was coming to the male lead's company. The male lead immediately found a way to leave. "I have some urgent business to handle, so I'll leave first." "Everyone go home today too." Han Young-sun replied, "Boss, I was planning on working overtime again today." Female employees grumbled, "Only the general manager gets to do it again. That's so unfair." A while later, a giant crowd, consisting of gamers, cosplayers, and reporters gathered outside the Universe Unpack event hall. A famous tech reviewer named Hendon said, "Well, did FS Game really participate? Are they looking to announce some second-generation VR device?" The guy in the beanie next to him added, "If they hype up virtual reality and then release another failed VR device, they are truly scammers." Hendon continued, "But because of that, they've attracted a lot of public attention, haven't they?" Beanie continued, "Well, this still seems like the worst move. Everyone is saying that unless it's a real virtual reality game, they will be toast forever. From the discomfort of wearing it to battery issues and app compatibility, the VR market still has countless problems that need to be solved. A company that makes inferior VR devices compared to the US tech giants is preparing to release virtual reality? That kind of thing only happens in science fiction novels." Hendon added, "Well, if it's a significantly improved VR device, it could grab attention." Beanie continued, "I can already imagine you dissecting it in a review video." Echoing throughout the huge hall, the host's booming voice rang out. Ladies and gentlemen, the official Unpack event of the Ong Electronics Group will begin soon. A special guest will personally introduce the new business project. Please welcome the CEO of FS Game, Lee Jinwoo. Jinwoo took absolute control of the attention of thousands of attendees. The audience whispered, "Wow, that's Jinwoo. The genius of the Ong family has returned from the dead." Standing tall before the crowd, the male lead began, "Hello everyone. I am Lee Jinwoo, CEO of FS Game. Lately, I've really enjoyed the memes about myself. Rumors that I've created a superconductor or that I will open the space age by inventing an anti-gravity device. Countless stories have been spread. The product I'm introducing today isn't exactly on that level, but I guarantee it will completely meet your expectations. So, if I may, let's begin." Immediately, a surreal ocean wave crashed straight into the terrifyingly panicked audience. What? Is it the ocean? Is this some kind of 4D effect? Standing calmly amidst the churning blue sea, Jinwoo narrated, "We have conquered the seas. There have been countless tragedies and hardships, but humanity's footsteps have finally touched land. We have crossed deserts, walked through grasslands, and touched the eternal snow. With courage, defiance of death, and perseverance overcoming even despair, we have conquered the highest mountains." Hendon gasped, "What kind of technology is this? Is it CG? I can feel its texture and coldness. This is unbelievable." Jinwoo added, "After conquering the land, we even conquered the sky. We didn't stop there. We sent humans to the moon and sent unmanned probes to Mars. How wonderful it would be if we could also conquer the universe. However, due to physical limitations, that is almost impossible with current scientific technology. Were we born in an era too awkward for exploration? Will we die without ever experiencing that romance? But I refused, gave up, and finally I found it. I have created a world for you to explore for yourselves." Covering their eyes from the blinding light, the audience gasped as the light faded, revealing a blood-red moon, along with a swarm of strange pink monsters flooding the aisles. The crowd panicked once again. "Ugh, what is this?" Jinwoo took the opportunity to announce, "I would like to introduce to you a fully immersive virtual reality game, A World Dreaming of Hope Arzilan Saga. The early access version for Arzilan Saga will begin in 2 weeks. We ask that you log in through the Soul-linked connection device, limited to 2,500 units and has already gone on sale starting today." After the website opened for orders, a series of players immediately argued fiercely. Most argued that the fully immersive virtual reality game was a scam, fake video, or stock manipulation tactic, while some remained skeptical and considered ordering if it were actually real. Sitting in his dark apartment while reading a series of negative comments online, Hendon sighed, "The comments are very negative, just as expected." Despite all those harsh reactions, the Soul Links were already sold out. Beanie continued, "Honestly, I still can't believe it. If this is a scam, I'll sue immediately." Hendon replied immediately, "The early access version will start in 2 weeks. I already bought one, so I'll unbox and review it in 2 weeks." Beanie said he was looking forward to seeing if we would meet in Arzilan or in court in 2 weeks. Hendon continued, "What if it's real?" Thinking for a moment, he replied, "Then I'll quit my job as a tech YouTuber and become an Arzilan YouTuber." 2 weeks later, on the other side of the spatial rift, in the sun-drenched and vibrant lands of Arzilan, Jinwoo looked up at the sky with a triumphant, expectant smile. Finally, they have arrived. The heroes from Earth. Elsewhere, an innkeeper with a radiantly smiling face greeted them with open arms. "Welcome to Avent Inn. Dear adventurer, I am Haggard, the owner of this Avent Inn." Tia angrily interrupted, "Wait a second. Innkeeper Haggard. Your acting looks so stiff. Please act more naturally." And since an innkeeper must have a beer belly, because the owner must have a beer belly, eat 6 meals a day starting from today. The innkeeper obeyed. She turned to glare at the blacksmith. "Next, Thompson playing the blacksmith. Have you memorized all your lines?" He replied, "Of course, director." She praised him and told him to start acting, swinging the hammer with terrifying force. "Oops, I slipped. Ha, the sword is broken. Because the enhancement process failed, all materials are gone." Tia yelled satisfactorily, "Very good, add a little more sarcasm." The blacksmith asked, "Why is it that even though the successful enhancement rate is 99%, we still have to intentionally let the player fail?" Tia explained that it was a way to make Earth gamers even more addicted to the game according to the context. and he commented that this mechanism was no different from a form of gambling addiction. The male lead stepped forward to praise her for doing a good job. When she finished greeting him, Jinwoo asked about the preparation progress. The heroes will be here soon. Is the magic tower still working well? Flipping through her meticulous notes, Tia confidently reported the situation. Yes, for the time being, we can simultaneously create up to 10,000 bodies. If that number is exceeded, we need to expand our facilities. Chinning in deep thought, he acknowledged the bottleneck. Just as expected, the magic stones are the main problem. She continued, we are forced to solve this problem to be able to reach our ultimate goal smoothly. He secretly calculated their military strength. We definitely need more troops, but there's no need to rush. For now, we should just slowly reclaim the eroded lands bit by bit with these newly arrived heroes. We should focus on the positive situations for the time being. This atmosphere was completely different from when they were dying slowly, indifferent to everything while facing despair. This was the hope that had breathed life back into their existence. Cutting off his train of thought, he added, are there any other issues? Tia reported a major problem with the casting. We don't have any knights capable of playing the role of Leon. He suggested finding any knight skilled with a sword, but she countered, according to the concept art, he must be an incredibly handsome man who looks like the embodiment of a holy sword, so we can't just pick anyone. Since he is the axis that will drive the entire story, we must choose someone extremely handsome. Contrary to her, the main character imagined someone whose face was covered in the battle scars of military commanders. Actually, that was true, most knights exuded the aura of veteran warriors rather than handsome men. Even the most handsome knight in Rain's Ord was far from being a pretty boy. Make the players fall in love with Arzilan. Make them get deeply immersed in this place so they will hate the corruption. Make them fight for Arzilan of their own volition. And the center of that will be Prince Lion. He muttered to himself, isn't there any good way to do this? A spirit stepped forward and said there was a way. He realized it was Tyrus. Tyrus faced him with a less than happy expression. Wouldn't it be enough if I just created a body and let you possess it? Master, although you are not a master swordsman, you have a very deep understanding of swordsmanship. The main character responded sheepishly, more than a method, it seems like this is just to satisfy your own ulterior motives. That idea actually sounds okay, doesn't it? First, we will create the body according to the concept art, then we can discuss the details later. She obsessively cut him off. Are you looking down on me? I finished it a long time ago. Please follow me this way. Following her deeper into the secret facility, the main character's eyes widened, staring at a massive hall filled with hyper-realistic mannequins stretching from one end to the other. Tia muttered, wow, are all these things dolls? He added, this place is still creepy, though. Tia's eyes caught a mannequin nearby. This doll looks pretty cute, doesn't it? Tyrus explained, that doll is a child version of the master. I designed it so it could fit neatly in your arms. Those chubby cheeks are the highlight. Tia picked it up and blurted out, oh, it's a masterpiece. Please move into this body. Immediately rejecting the terrifying suggestion, Jinwoo flatly refused, I am not moving into that thing. Tia pouted while hugging the doll tightly, oh, why not? I would pamper you so much. He said with a deadpan face, exactly, that is the problem. I would clearly die from suffocation. Leading him to a magnificent pedestal covered by a thick red cloth, Tyrus announced the main event, Leon's body is right here. Both of you, please don't be surprised when you see it. Standing next to the covered masterpiece, Jinwoo curiously asked, why? Grabbing the edge of the velvet cloth with a flash of madness in her eyes, Tyrus pulled it away. I have finally reached a realm that does not belong to this world. A divine beauty. They were instantly blinded by the holy light emanating from that artificial body, bathing in a brilliant halo. The sacredness was spreading throughout the room. The spirit and the Grand Mage stood there drenched in sweat. Tia stared at that perfect creation. Wow, it's truly perfect. He's even cooler than the Leon in my imagination. Tyrus revealed her dedication. I worked tirelessly for a whole month. Its bones are made of dragon bone, and the muscles are made of synthetic fibers made from molten S. Therefore, its physical capabilities are extremely excellent. I also spent every last coin of my own money to equip it. It is a masterpiece made from the scales of Helbai and crafted by 12 dwarven artisans I hired. Freezing on the spot as he realized that terrifying truth, Jin Woo's inner monologue raced. Helbai actually willingly surrendered its scales? Sitting majestically on his throne while gripping his glowing scepter, Jin Woo ordered the final stage. Well, then should we check if the connection is working properly? Surging with massive streams of blue lightning, the Grand Mage launched his soul into that pristine vessel, nervously watching with flushed cheeks. The spirits gasped as the Holy Knight slowly opened his glittering sapphire blue eyes. Meanwhile, in a modern high-end apartment in Seoul, a streamer with bright pink hair named Habiol was glued to her phone just 10 minutes before launch. Holding the glowing glasses, the famous Nimmer chatted with her audience. This is the standard version of Soul Link. Reading the skeptical comments flooding her screen, Habiol explained her purchase. I originally planned to buy the broker version, but what if it's a scam, right? So I just bought the standard version for now. She received comments saying it was 100% a scam, but she put the futuristic device on her eyes with an eager smile. She checked the features. Oh, when I switch to broadcast settings, the chat window appears right in front of my eyes. Maybe I can use this for my regular broadcasts, too, right? Ah, it's already 10 o'clock. Seeing the glowing login notification appear before her eyes, Habiol stammered in nervous anticipation. Wait, guys, it says I can connect now. The chat channel couldn't believe it, saying scammers were really professional these days. She gathered her viewers. I'll try connecting right now. Let's see if virtual reality is the truth or just a scam as public opinion says. I'm clicking here. Log in. Instantly swallowed by a blinding digital blue light, the streamer screamed, "Ugh, what is this?" Standing in the middle of the swirling magic arc, the rogue mages channeled their energy. The first hero has arrived. Everyone, let's begin. Rubbing her eyes while floating in an endless, starry void, Habiol groaned, "Ugh, where am I?" Spotting her glowing chat window floating in the universe, the streamer excitedly shouted, "Do you guys see this? I'm actually in virtual reality." The chat exploded, saying it was crazy. Some said there were many more surprises ahead. Others couldn't believe the main character had created a masterpiece before GTA 6. Scrolling through the beautifully designed avatars, she read her options aloud. Wow, it looks like a customization room. Let me see. The races I can choose from are human, spirit, dwarf, and orc. For now, I'll choose the most beautiful race, the spirit. I'll make my chest a bit bigger. Ha ha! A bright cyan light enveloped her body as the system completed the character creation process. She gently appeared on the lush green grass of the magical forest. She touched the ground, looked down at her perfectly rendered, slightly heavy-chested character, and cheered happily. I'd become a spirit. A notification appeared, an unknown spirit with reduced mobility due to an overdeveloped upper body. The chat complimented her burning chest, though some still refused to believe it, calling it a scam. Admiring the breathtaking, sun-drenched view of the medieval town in the distance, Habiol marveled, "By the way, is this place Arzelon? Ah, it's crazy. I think I'm in love with it." The comments asked if this was really Arzelon, while others said the scenery determined whether a virtual reality game was good or not. They also asked if there were multiple camera angles in the game. She didn't care, as she was blushing fiercely, realizing the overwhelming realism of the simulated environment. The streamer stammered, "I'm really in virtual reality, but where should I go now?" Suddenly, a deep, warm male voice shattered her confusion. "The starting village event is over there." Turning around, she began to express her gratitude. "Huh? Thank you." Stopping in her tracks, her bright eyes widened in surprise. Standing before her, bathed in sunlight, was a devastatingly handsome blonde knight Leon, flashing a radiant smile. "If you don't know the way, would you like to come with me? My name is Leon." Walking along the busy, sun-drenched streets of Avent Village, a muscular player excitedly pointed at the sky. "Wow! Lee Jinwoo is truly a god." Standing nearby in rookie gear, a player yelled, "Hey, do you guys want to level up together?" A martial arts style player in tattered robes asked, "Excuse me, do I know where this is?" I was clearly fighting the heavenly demon. But when I woke up, a Murim style player with green hair sarcastically replied, "Oh, is this content about transmigrating into Murim?" Amazed by the bustling and crowded town square, viewers said it felt like a brand new village. Some said they wouldn't need to go on vacation anymore, they'd just play this game. Famous streamer Habiol, now in the body of a blonde female spirit, exclaimed, "Oh, there are already this many people here? I've reached the village but I don't know where to go. Oh, I can just ask the guard. Happily waving as she approached the stern-looking soldier, she called out, excuse me. He was startled by her sudden appearance. A hero? Just follow the script naturally. Spreading his arms with a perfectly practiced radiant smile, the guard recited his lines, "Event always welcomes heroes. First, please state your name." Realizing this was the character naming phase, she smiled brightly. "Is this when I set my nickname? Then I'll go by the name Habiol." Hearing a sudden system chime, she read the glowing notification detailing the agility reduction due to her overdeveloped upper body. Her name Habiol was at the bottom. Oh, I have a name now, and wow, everything feels so natural. Could it be that you are also a player? Standing stiffly like a scratched record, the sweating guard simply repeated his scripted line, "Event always welcomes heroes." Habiol immediately concluded, he must really just be an NPC. "Do you, have a quest or something?" Pointing a stiff, armored finger straight toward a large building, "Please go to the Adventurers Guild over there." The streamer smiled, "Oh, thank you very much." The chat immediately demanded to find the main character in Leon's body because of that handsomeness. They said that face didn't belong to this world. Seeing that, she agreed to follow. That's right. Worthy of being a hero, he went looking for quests as soon as he arrived. As soon as we reached the village gate, he left. Feels more like an NPC. Well, surely we'll find some clues about him once we start doing quests, right? Jinwoo observed the crowd with a satisfied smirk. People's reaction to Leon is pretty good. Okay, let's see if she has any useful traits. The soul power traits that all earthlings like himself possess. A soul's identity is built from the years a person has lived and the experiences accumulated within it. Traits won't show up on the player's status window, but when clicking on a talent within a trait, growth accelerates with AON skill. As expected, most are ranked D or E, huh? Intently watching Habiol's retreating back, the main character read the A-rank magical badge above her head, a social evolution. A talent that can easily make friends with anyone. You can even become friends with a mindless monster. An A-rank trait even though she's a newbie? She said she's a streamer named Habiol, right? Her long-term broadcasting career must have honed that trait. Social evolution surely works not just on humans but also on monsters, divine entities, and even spirits. If she cultivates the trait properly, she could lead the effort to cleanse this place. Setting foot at the magnificent, sun-drenched entrance of the Adventurers Guild, Habiol gently pushed the door open. So this is the Adventurers Guild? Stepping onto the pristine red carpet of the main hall, her eyes sparkled at the incredibly luxurious interior. Wow! Standing behind the polished reception desk, Tia in a gorgeous red receptionist outfit flashed a radiant smile. "I am Tia, welcome here, my hero." Catching the receptionist's gaze, Habiol's eyes widened and her chat exploded at that immense beauty. "She's so pretty." When coming to the Adventurers Guild, everyone will receive many benefits. If you are a rookie, don't worry about status and just register. Habiol immediately agreed. "Oh yes, I will. I'll register right now." The chat told her to listen to the beauty. "If there are real angels, is it this person? This isn't a human, this is a spirit." Watching the player busily signing the documents, Tia smiled, confirming the registration. "Hero of Arzelon, your registration as an adventurer is complete. Please check the schedule and try to complete your goals. Here is a rookie bag." Blinking at the mysterious bag, Tia explained, "An appraiser's note, a spatial bag, and a support subsidy. We also provide basic weapons at the armory, so please go there and pick one for yourself." Bowing with sincere affection for the beautiful female NPC, Habiol beamed, "Thank you so much. Beautiful big sister." Reaching out to gently stroke the streamer's blonde hair, Tia giggled, "Oh my, thank you." Feeling the gentle, realistic touch from the spirit's hand, Habiol blushed intensely while her chat exploded with envy. Floating quietly in the sky above the city, Jinwoo monitored the interaction with a calm expression. Tia reported to her master, "I just met a hero named Habiol and she is really adorable. Makes me want to torment her so much. I want to quickly drown her in misery to see those eyes filled with tears." Are all summoned heroes this cute? Jinwoo calmly continued, "Who knows? But hey, we even pulled a real veteran general from another world here." She asked if he meant a veteran soldier. Meanwhile, inside the guild's hall, a shirtless player walked in with arms crossed. "So boring." Blonde held his forehead in annoyance. "This world is so dull I could die from it."
An old man next to him shouted, "Boy, bring me some noodles and a jar of bamboo wine." Stunned by that bizarre request, Tia blinked in confusion. "We are hosting some weirdos here."
Seeing a group of men dancing strangely in the middle of the headquarters, right at that moment Jinwoo just gently praised "well done," making her gasp his name in surprise. "Hey, don't eat the request forms, take them out of his mouth, hurry up. Ah, don't roll down the stairs, there's no secret passage down there. Your head will crack open. I am not your big sister, and I am not your mother either." Reading a glowing system notification rewarding the player the title prankster for confusing the receptionist, a player laughed triumphantly. "Oh, guys, we get a title if we make Tia mad. Spent 3 weeks and still haven't found anyone looking for someone brave enough to harass big sister." Sitting alone in a room, Tia trembled incessantly. "Haha, someday I will see it." The scene of broken heroes crying miserably. "If I could see that, I would happily sacrifice all my hair in exchange for it." Seamlessly switching back to the modern world of Earth. Massive news headlines flashed on screens, declaring the authenticity of the virtual game. A new order had been established in the world. Many apology broadcasts and clarification programs were aired in succession. Standing dignified before the camera system in the dark, famous tech reviewer Hendon bowed deeply to his audience. "I am truly, truly sorry. From now on, I will reflect on my actions right from the beginning. No, even before that, I doubted this situation. I caused a massive wave of outrage with my over-the-top comments and unverified claims. This issue was so serious that many countries rushed to air emergency programs about something they had never heard of before. In their hearts, everyone already knew, if they didn't choose this moment to change, they would be left behind forever. This was a fate they had no choice but to accept. And in the first week since the launch of Arzilan Saga, confidently striding into the bustling office of FS Game, Jinwoo walked in to greet everyone. Han Young-sun eagerly pointed out the large glass windows and asked, "President, do you see the trucks in front of the company?" Jinwoo replied, "I see. There are many trucks like that today, too." Handing him a cup of coffee, veteran developer Han Young-sun laughed. "The Soul Link fever has formed and we are receiving many calls. I am Young-sun and I have already hugged the youngest employee on the team." The main character praised them. "Haha, everyone has worked very hard." Han Young-sun asked about the business plan. "Then when can we release the next stock package?" Jinwoo ordered smoothly, "We will open pre-orders for the second batch as planned. We have prepared enough units for 50,000 players, maybe even more." His mind drifted to his grand strategy, 50,000 heroes. With that number, we can enter the first evolution phase. It's time to start building everything up little by little. Turning back to his incredibly eager team, Jinwoo announced the next content launch. "We will also soon start updating the main story." Han Young-sun cheered. "Oh, does that mean Leon will finally appear?" "Finally, Leon has the president. Can you look over the sales plan for Leon? We have keychains, acrylic standees, lens wipes, models, we've prepared everything already." A female employee squealed, "Hey, I want those too." Afterward, in perfect sync with his physical body on Earth, the main character's consciousness was controlling the avatar of Prince Leon of Arzilan. "Is Leon like this? Okay, he is indeed unreasonably handsome." Suddenly Tyrus spoke from behind as if reading his mind. "I really went too far, how embarrassing." He stammered bitterly, "Hey, you have to knock before entering." Ignoring his complaints completely, Tyrus whispered ominously, "Prince Leon, or rather a tragic traveler. Judging from those sorrowful eyes, there must be a story behind it." Sweating from her completely unnecessary role-playing, "So you intend to role-play all the way here?" Sliding in front of the main character, Tyrus looked up at him with large eyes. "O traveler with sad eyes, the one who carries the light of tragedy." Lost in her own romantic delusion, Tyrus envisioned the handsome prince surrounded by a stream of glittering crimson roses. "Will you listen to my story? My benefactor?" The main character pleaded. "Please, stop that tone. I'm already tired enough. Anyway, are there any good hunting grounds around here where heroes can develop?" Tyrus answered straightforwardly, "As far as I know, there are none. If you mean outside the contaminated territory, there should be plenty." Turning his back on her, he stepped out of the magnificent room. "So we don't have any private hunting grounds we can borrow from the ruin?" Stepping out into the wasteland, darkly in his original grand mage body, Jinwoo gripped his staff, looking up at the massive, swirling purple chaotic energy storm tearing the sky apart. He faced the true horror of the erosion alone. The main character released a green magic circle to shield himself. This place still felt uncomfortable.
And the guest has arrived, yet you didn't even bother to come out and welcome me.
He raised his staff to activate grand magic,
and then said, "You're here." A massive hole appeared,
along with the afterimage of the purple monster's carcass crackling, rising from the swirling purple storm with countless glowing red eyes and a massive snout grinning.
The Lord of Erosion mocked the Grand Mage. "Hee, I knew you would come. Even if you didn't make such a fuss, you finally came to offer your soul, right, that mage?"
The main character observed and thought to himself, Ella's noble priests and holy knights had all fallen before this creature. Their souls were torn apart and corrupted. They became slaves, unable to escape the core of the erosion. That is why I have had to fight alone until now. It was an unbearable, lonely, and solitary battle.
And in the end, I was defeated.
The purple monster growled, "Accept your fate, you have lost.
How long do you think that pathetic defensive wall will protect you?" Smiling calmly at the arrogance
of the giant beast, it asked what he was laughing at, and Jinwoo replied, "Nothing, I just feel sorry for you. The Lord of Erosion cannot move from the center of its own land. If you devoured enough land to level up, it might be different, but you haven't done that yet."
Glaring furiously with all of its crimson eyes, "You bastard, did you come here just to mock me?"
The main character replied, "Of course not.
I'm not that free."
"Found it. It's right around here." Down below is a goblin level that the corruption devoured.
Completely corrupted, it hated all living things, laughed savagely at the mage's target, and mocked his plan.
"Hee, you know it's useless to destroy those things. Even if you use the most powerful magic to wipe them out, they will soon regenerate within the erosion." Thumping his staff firmly against the cracked ground, the main character agreed, "If it were just me alone, that would indeed be the case."
Summoning a crackling blue magic circle that engulfed the entire goblin camp,
he began to cast his spell. With just a snap of his fingers, all the goblins vanished from where they stood. It seemed they had all been teleported somewhere else by his power.
The Lord of Erosion snapped, "Spatial magic? What are you plotting?"
Casually waving his hand at the monster, he explained his blatant theft. "I'll borrow a few of them. So, replenish them later.
It's not like you have anything else to do anyway.
And from now on, you'll be the sub-boss of the Arzilan Saga Episode 1 main quest. I hope you give a good performance. I borrowed the goods, so I should pay for them, right? Keep the change." It shrieked, "You bastard, I'll kill you."
He raised his middle finger, taunting it in an incredibly annoying way.
"That mage, get back here." Meanwhile, back in the vibrant, sun-drenched forests of the game world, players ranging from level 3 to level 5 were walking through the forest.
The level 5 blue-haired muscular player in the lead spoke up, "Goblin subjugation? Finally, we have a decent quest."
The red-haired mage added, "Sister Tia said the goblins have rare swords,
so they should be appearing soon."
Suddenly, the bright forest plunged into an ominous darkness, causing everyone to stop. "They're coming soon."
Streamer Habiol froze and stared at the sky. "What is this?"
Suddenly it went pitch black. The chat took the opportunity to say they were scared and wanted to hug the streamer, causing others to call them opportunistic. Some said they had a bad feeling. Emerging from the purple shadows that were writhing and crawling forward with glowing red eyes and jagged weapons, a swarm of goblins blocked their path.
Blue Hair immediately analyzed the new enemies, but they are huge and purple. Are they elite monsters? Seeing the goblins roar and prepare to attack,
Blue Hair got into a stance to draw his sword in counterattack. They are still just pathetic little creatures.
I'll end this in 3 moves.
Dashing forward with incredible speed,
the goblin pierced through the player's defense,
causing his eyes to widen in extreme panic.
Watching his teammate instantly get crushed by the monster's brutal attack,
the red-haired mage frantically swung his staff. "Damn bastards!" Fireball, releasing a massive, fiery explosion that engulfed the dark forest.
The mage hoped for a victory. "Did I take them down?" The chat immediately flooded with question marks.
Bursting out of the thick smoke completely unscathed,
the monstrous goblin instantly wiped out the spellcaster. The chat immediately asked why a mage would cast Resurrection. Resurrection magic is the eternal truth in every game. Is he really stupid?
They are so fast. They must be elite monsters.
This won't work. Goodbye.
Time to run, do something. If you die you can't log in for an hour. Ooh, this game is crazy, scarier than a horror movie.
Habiol stammered in terror, "Are they all dead? These aren't normal goblins, we can't win."
The goblin lunged at her with its jagged blade, closing her eyes in horror, preparing to accept the inevitable fatal blow. Suddenly, a blinding,
beautiful arc of golden light tore through the darkness, easily crushing the monstrous goblin into ashes.
A single slash destroyed the goblins, cutting them in half. Opening her eyes in bewilderment as the halo filled the battlefield, Habiol gasped.
Standing majestically before her in a billowing blue cape, the handsome Prince Leon flashed a smile. "We meet again, Miss Hero. Is everyone okay?" 9 Rolex, Part 1, Omegawa.
World-class luxury watch models all operate with intricate parts woven together with sophistication. The parts are meticulously designed by master craftsmen, operating without a single error, proving the value of a masterpiece.
Here, Leon's body is the same.
Possessing a perfect physique meticulously infused with 24 layers of high-level magic thanks to the dedication and hands of the Arzelan artisan, Tyrus. Perfect, even dust turns into flower petals upon touching him.
He is eternally beautiful. Dazzle. Brilliant aura, a soft glow. It self-adjusts based on the viewer's emotions. Dazzle.
The spreading scent emits the most pleasant and relaxing fragrance, custom-tailored to the target's preferences and emotions.
21 other types of magic are currently active.
Staring intently at the unimaginably handsome knight before her, wow, he's so radiant. At that moment, someone donated 10,000, stay calm, stop drooling.
Actually, I'm drooling too.
Streamer Habiol snapped out of her trance, I didn't even realize it.
Snap out of it. Looking down at her with concern, he majestically asked, "Are you okay? Are you injured anywhere?" Blinking repeatedly in extreme confusion, Habiol stammered, "Huh? Ha? Yes, I'm fine."
Raising his glowing hand to cast a brilliant spell, "I'll cast a healing spell just in case." Feeling a warm golden aura envelop her body, Habiol gasped in surprise. While the chat exploded, "This is crazy.
They don't have that at the vocational training center, can we learn that too?"
Looking down at her own hands as holy magic washed over them, she muttered, "I'm not injured, but I can still feel the energy surging." Suddenly distracted by a blinking notification in her vision, the streamer exclaimed, "Ah, a 100,000 donation.
Look, soldier from Audrey Ben. Leon, I love you, strike a cute pose," she announced. "Here is the reaction for 100,001.
Doing her 10 combo wink attack, the boy looked at her with confused facial expressions, making her turn bashful.
He looked at her and concluded, "Oh dear, it seems like you've hurt your head."
Placing his glowing hand directly on her head, the main character gently offered, "I'll treat you right away." Habiol screamed in embarrassment, "No, I didn't." Seeing a series of new donation notifications requesting an embarrassing dance, the streamer bitterly replied, I won't do it, never." Observing her sudden erratic behavior with a calm gaze, the main character thought to himself, should I go along with it? Shocked out of her mind when a massive 5 million notification exploded on the screen, requesting she do the bunny hop.
Habiol shouted, "Huh? 5 million.
Raising her trembling hands to her head to form little rabbit ears, the streamer surrendered to capitalism. "Pop, pop, your bunny is just for you.
The cute bunny is appearing unexpectedly here. Don't look at me like that."
Witnessing that ridiculous display of financial submission, he mused in his heart, "This is capitalism.
The power of money is truly mighty." The main character suggested, "Your head definitely needs proper treatment at the temple.
For now, let's move to a safe place." With tears streaming down her face, the streamer lamented, "I told you I didn't hit my head." That was the moment voted the best film scene of the year not only by the audience but also by the entire streaming site.
Best scene of the year.
This is how a person changes when suddenly gifted 5 million won.
Views, 3 million.
Following the majestic hero through the dark forest, Habiol stared in awe at those broad shoulders. Ooh, even his back is handsome. Stopping near the edge of the magical forest, he turned back with a reassuring smile. "We've arrived, please walk carefully."
The streamer gratefully replied, "Oh yes, thank you for saving me." The chat saw this and teased, "Is talking in a baby voice in front of a handsome guy scientifically proven? But Leon doesn't even have a player info board pop up. Is he a main NPC?
Based on his appearance and stats, he's definitely a main character." The main character spoke up, "The goblins probably won't be able to chase us all the way here." Standing up straight to introduce herself properly, Habiol added, "My thanks are a bit late, but my name is Habiol."
He introduced his fabricated identity, "I am Leon, a traveler. I have been traveling and investigating the erosion. That was when I discovered monsters corrupted by the erosion were appearing around Avent.
I would love to believe the magic wall is still very strong, but a sinister plot might be underway."
Looking up at him with curious eyes, Habiol asked, "Are the purple goblins also due to the erosion?" He immediately confirmed, "Yes, they have been corrupted by the erosion." Analyzing her hidden stats with his transcendent Grand Mage vision, Jinwoo made a mental note, her compatibility is definitely A rank. She might very well become the central character of the expedition team. Leon made his official request, "My strength alone is not enough. I request you, warrior. Please destroy the corrupted goblins." Looking at the system notification displaying details about an impossible raid, Habiol panicked inside. Finally a main quest, do I have to assemble a subjugation team? But is 200 people feasible? Everyone looks like they have a lot to do, like picking herbs or going places, for example. No, I must do this because it's Leon's request. Grabbing his hand with burning passion, I will try my best. After giving the first quest to Habiol, Jinwoo acted very busily. Moving quickly across the plains to support other wandering players, Leon took down a wolf that was charging, approaching a red-haired female player carrying a basket. He smiled warmly, "It's impressive that you could collect so many herbs. Even the herb gatherers in Avent have a hard time doing that." Blushing at the sudden compliment, the player shrieked inside, "Hee hee. I just got complimented by Leon." He thought to himself, supporting herb collection and item support, handing a heavy bag to a surprised bald player in the town square. "These are various types of potions and items, a small token to show my appreciation for you warriors." The player asked with deep concern, "Are you okay giving away so much, Leon? You won't have anything left for yourself." The main character replied, "I'm fine. Don't I still have all of you?" Many touching stories about Leon began to spread in the community. Title: Today I talked to my mom for the first time in 5 years. I was even scared to leave my room, but then I thought of Leon. I used to be scared even of leaving my room, but then I thought of Leon. He called me a warrior, so I thought I should regain my courage like a real warrior. When I opened the door and stepped out, my mom hugged me and cried. I felt so guilty. My heart ached the most when Mom blamed herself. I am a warrior, so I won't live miserably anymore. I will find a job and pay off all my debts. And since many rookies will be entering Arzelon from now on, I will also take care of warriors like me. The chat exploded at Leon's display, constantly praising him as a real warrior, likening him to a god, and claiming this was the fascinating virtuous cycle of the game. Sitting comfortably at his computer desk on Earth, Jinwoo read the overwhelmingly positive posts on the forum with a satisfied smile. It's really effective to wander around diligently. They are becoming more motivated and the current atmosphere is very good. At this rate, the subjugation team will be assembled quickly. Then, should I accelerate the plan a bit more? Pushing open the doors, leading into the glowing control room, Jinwoo walked in while Tyrus respectfully greeted. You have arrived, Master. Approaching the high-tech magic circle swirling in the middle of the room, he asked about the status of the control device. Tyrus reported, it is perfectly connected. The magic tower acts as an intermediary, allowing us to control the details from here. Jinwoo sensed dark forces from afar. Good, I can sense the energy of the erosion core outside this temporary core. A cold, calculating light flashed in his eyes as he mapped out the sequence to trigger the raid. If the goblins appear more frequently, they will organize the subjugation team faster. Turning back to his loyal subordinate, the main character gave the next order, call Hasman, Howlon, and the key NPCs. Curiosity asked, understood, my lord. What is the reason for gathering them? A menacing dark smile appeared on Jinwoo's face, as he prepared to unleash his fabricated villains onto the players. It's time for you to become goblins. A moment later, the subordinates' voices spoke up respectfully, you have summoned us. Master, we heard there is work we can do for Arzelon. Baron Hasmanagast continued, we will help as much as we can. Annoyed by the breath getting closer, the main character requested, don't put your faces so close to me, just sit down. Hasman eagerly asked from his seat, what work is it? I will try my best to support. Jinwoo added, hasn't Tia told you? Then I will explain when Tia gets here. Behind him with obsessed eyes and heavy dark circles, Tia muttered, I'm right here. Jinwoo turned around in surprise, the main character stammered, oh. With a menacing dark red aura, she exhausted asked in a creepy way, what's the matter? Jinwoo questioned her strange behavior, come on, is encroaching on other people's personal space the new trend? It scared the hell out of me. Collapsing onto the sofa, Tia lay completely motionless while the main character asked with sincere concern, anyway, what happened to you? Is something wrong? She retorted with skepticism. Is something wrong? Really? Why does the Mage Tower keep creating such useless titles? That bastard hero.
I mean, the hero said if I do well, I'll receive a title. He spends all day at the Adventurers Guild doing stupid pranks. Right in front of me, he keeps doing those things and stealing stuff. Please don't waste precious magic stone energy on such nonsense. Smiling awkwardly to appease her, the main character surrendered to her endless complaints. I understand.
Okay? Understood. Sorry. How are Hor and Hasman doing?
Sitting stiffly next to each other, the former pope covered in gloomy purple shadows. The heroes are starting to suspect who I am. I was just sitting there minding my own business.
But Hasman looked just as horrified by the player's boldness. Me too. Jinwoo realized the immense psychological burden that the Earth gamers had caused them. Tia immediately shifted her attention and asked, "So why did you call us here?"
Tyrus beside her asked why he didn't tell them, and she replied, "Because I want to witness everyone's reactions with my own eyes." The main character immediately praised, "You are truly one of a kind. Here, take this."
Taking the game controller, Tia examined it. What is this?
Hearing that, he explained its dark purpose, a device to control goblins. All three of you will become goblins and slaughter the heroes to help them gain experience.
Tia immediately helplessly added, "Sorry, you want us to go that far and control those dirty little creatures?
And on top of that, we have to become goblins trampled by heroes and killed."
That's too much.
Jinwoo coldly justified the sacrifice. It's all for Arzelon.
Heroes must be killed so the conquest party forms faster.
And besides, those being trampled are not you, they are heroes. Heroes are guests of the soul. Even when they die, they resurrect.
Don't hold back.
Help them gain experience.
Sweating profusely hearing her quick adaptation to the toxicity, Howlon looked on with deep anxiety. What was that last part? I must have misheard. Tia asked for instructions from her master. Anyway, this thing looks pretty interesting.
How do you use it?
Jinwoo immediately agreed. The left navigation button controls movement and pressing the right button will make it perform the designated action. It's simple to control, so it's not too difficult.
I'll pull up the screen to try.
Gripping the controller anxiously, like this?
Watching a purple goblin sprint across the holographic screen, Tia was surprised by the smooth responsiveness. Oh, it moved.
Oh, this thing is pretty cool.
The main character praised her for doing well, then she continued, "Leave it to me. I'll provide the heroes with enough motivation so we can assemble a large conquest force."
The former pope observed the evil smiles and questioned their morality. You guys are enjoying this, aren't you?
Tia casually replied, "It feels so good. Sometimes I want to control someone exactly how I want."
Hasman coughed and added, "Ahem, master, I'm mostly alone. I have a lot of time." Hasman continued, "Strategy and tactics are also my specialty."
The main character took out two other controllers, giving them full autonomy. "Alright, I'll trust you guys and leave it to you." Instantly sinking into fervent gamer joy, the three happily played their game while Tia cheered.
"Ah! It can even jump backward." The Pope rejoiced. "Ha, it seems like I'm no longer lonely. What an ugly little thing." See?
With something like this around, someone like me isn't so bad after all. Returning to the room, his eyes lit up with magic as he activated the camera.
Jinwoo took out the phone, showing their happy moments as the lock screen.
The scene cuts back to the modern world.
Once the rotting goblin is defeated, the lowest level invasion will be revealed, marking the beginning of the main story's first episode. So, if we time the second wave of sales to coincide with that. Suddenly, a loud clatter shattered the quiet atmosphere. Grandpa and his older sister stood up abruptly in a heavy, tense silence.
Everyone rushed out of the dining room,
leaving him alone in utter bewilderment.
He looked at them, confused, and muttered, "What's going on?" Sometime later, in the vibrant land of Arzelon, players eagerly shouted their recruitment calls to the massive crowds in the bustling town square. Join the Goblin Conquest.
Looking for high-ranking players to go slaughter those bastards. Let's go together.
I saw the Adventurers Guild posted a recruitment notice for the rover.
Ah, I snagged a spot in a party right away. We're going to totally wreck those jerks. Ack, my herbs, my meat. 10 hours of hard work just vanished in the blink of an eye.
Watching the noisy crowd, he blinked in the confusion of an earthling.
What on earth is happening here?
The scene shifts to another location, where a goblin slashes violently through the air, leaping high across the battlefield.
The agile goblin prepared to strike just as a warrior ordered his group to attack. The mage's support light responded, "Leave it to me." The player was shocked by its advanced combat mechanics. Are they crazy? Since when could goblins cast spells? The incredibly aggressive goblin decimated the panicking warrior. Gripping his controller, Tia let out a completely unhinged laugh as she fully embraced her toxic gamer persona. How does that feel? Ha! Ha ha ha! Great combo! Tyrus nodded in agreement, of course. Seeing this, the male lead understood and monologued, so the three of them have been doing this all along. Returning with a pale face, Tia gasped, "Oh, you've been here the whole time?" Staring at them, they were completely immersed in their gaming addiction, their faces utterly exhausted. Have they been doing this non-stop? It feels less like they're nurturing heroes and more like they're torturing them. Well, it must be my imagination. They shouted again, another stupid hero. Nice. Hearing this, he thought to himself, are they actually torturing them? The male lead stepped forward to mention that the goblin information had just been updated, while she continued to laugh hysterically. Ha ha, die, all of you die. Level 10, Red Thread Slayer of Heroes. Goblin race rotted by the invasion. Combat records, killed young man 24 minutes ago, killed he 12 minutes ago, killed the girl who flipped the bear 1 minute ago. The male lead fought in despair. Hero Slayer? Don't tell me that title came from the Mage Tower. How many heroes have you killed? Turning to her subordinates with a sinister smile, the former pope suggested, Tia, I believe it's time we do that now. Nodding enthusiastically, Tia agreed, you're right. I almost forgot the most important part. Approaching a blue player's corpse, she placed its purple barefoot directly on the face of the fallen hero. The goblin insulted the corpse with absolute malice, repeatedly jumping up and then sitting on the player's face in a blatant act of digital humiliation, causing the crowd to point angrily with veins bulging. Hey, look, they're trampling our comrade. Those crazy, bastard goblins. Tia enjoyed her absolute power over the helpless earthlings. Sieha, what can you heroes even do to us? Absolutely nothing, right? Jinwoo immediately wondered, where did they even learn that? Well, this must be enough stimulation. The results are just as expected. Gathering into a sea of heavily armed, incredibly furious heroes in the town square, the Earthlings prepared to wage total war against the toxic monsters. The male lead, in Leon's body, silently monologued. The impact is spreading faster and stronger than expected. Now it really begins. Time to go. In the dimly lit forge, the blacksmith stared with sharp eyes. Uragam, my friend, do you really want to pursue this to the end? The warrior replied, oh, quit yapping. I'm ready, let's start. Gripping the giant metal hammer with muscular hands, the blacksmith smirked. Ha, look at you, so full of confidence? Let me see if you still have that look on your face when we're finished. Hiya, slamming the hammer down onto the wooden shield on the anvil. A blinding golden light erupted along with a jarring noise. With a sweat dripping, awkward smile as the light faded. The blacksmith apologized while the warrior stared blankly at the system notification of the failed enchantment. Oops, my hand slipped. My bad, that's a shame. At least you still kept the shield, you're actually very lucky. Ha ha ha. Throwing his head back in despair, Uragam roared, damn it. My +4 shield. Female streamer Habiol approached the crying warrior. Uragam, are you really enchanting right before a battle? Looking utterly pathetic with tears streaming down his bearded face, Uragam begged, yeah, Habiol, is that you? Please comfort me. My enchantment failed. Looking with a completely expressionless, unimpressed face, Habiol muttered, you're a dopamine addict. You lost both attempts just to get to +4 the other day, and you're still at it? I heard the success rate for +5 is only 5%. He screamed, not enough. This dopamine addict needs a much bigger dose. The blacksmith mocked, surely you're not giving up here, are you? You've got guts. Are you a hero or what? Uragam roared, do it again. I'm betting my entire fortune here. Seeing the gambler all in, the blacksmith said, that's what I expect from a hero. The female streamer beside him complained, sorry, but we're about to set out. What if your equipment breaks? Turning around in surprise as footsteps approached, Habiol looked up as an imposing shadow fell over her. Habiol, there you are. You've grown a lot since the last time we met. Greeting him enthusiastically with a bright smile, Habiol asked, what brings you here? Looking down at her, he gently explained, before we set out to conquer the goblins, I went around the village to see how things were. Since I was the one who requested this, I wanted to see if I could help the heroes in any way. Habiol was overwhelmed. Our Leon is so sweet.
Suddenly lunging into the frame with a terrifying, tear-stained face, the bearded warrior screamed at the top of his lungs.
Leon jumped back in fear.
Habiol hissed, "Kia, you startled me." He screamed in desperation, "Please, you have to help me.
I'm begging you." Habiol introduced him as the male lead wondered, "This is Uragam, our party's tank. As you can see, he's an addict. I mean, an enchantment addict." The male lead politely asked, "I see, but is there anything I can help with?"
Pointing enthusiastically to the spot beside him, the warrior said, "Just stand right here while I perform the enchantment."
Looking with a judgmental face, Habiol whispered, "Are you really planning to use Leon as a good luck charm?"
He shouted at the blacksmith to do it, and the old man agreed. He nodded to signal the smith, who seemed to misunderstand but responded with a nod as well. Swinging down with terrifying speed,
the hammer became a blur of motion.
Colliding with the wooden shield, a divine golden pillar of light soared up, illuminating the dark forge as they watched in awe.
"Whoa, upgrade successful. Iron shield +5.
The warrior screamed in disbelief, "Why, I got the server's first +5 enchantment, and it has top-tier stats."
Thank you. It's all thanks to you, Leon." The male lead humbly replied, "Haha, I didn't do anything." Instantly transforming into a sinister monster, Uragam laughed maniacally.
"Habiol, do you see this +5 shield?
Oh, where did she go? Maybe losers without a +5 aren't even allowed to look at it?" Clenching his fists while his face turned red with anger, Habiol growled, "Yeah? How dare you?" A notification for a 1,000,001 donation flashed on the streamer's interface.
It challenged her to successfully enchant to +5 to receive the 1,000,001.
The streamer's eyes widened. "Oh, really?
Leon, please tap my bow just once, please."
Looking slightly overwhelmed but maintaining a gentle smile, he complied, "Sure. I hope it succeeds."
Slamming the flaming hammer onto the anvil with a deafening clang, the muscular blacksmith continued his work. A whitewood +5 bow glowed brilliantly beneath the success notification, making Habiol gasp, "Kia, no way."
The chat was saying max stats? God, Leon is really efficient. Ha ha. 2 consecutive successes when Leon shows up? Unreal. The female streamer hugged it and cheered, "I'm so happy, Leon. I love you." Eagerly leaning in, the swordsman begged, Leon, please tap my weapon, too."
Surrounded from all sides, a crowd of people waited for their turn. The male lead agreed, "Sure, that's not hard at all." Staring at the endless crowd of customers, the blacksmith froze. With a mischievous smirk from the dark purple shadow, the male lead whispered to the smith, "Just enjoy it."
Trembling in utter despair, the blacksmith pleaded, "Save me." Hammering the anvil nonstop as golden sparks flew and countless system success windows flooded the screen, the players cheered wildly. "All right, Leon Thompson, we're counting on you too. Time to upgrade. Come on, there are a lot of people here. So please, keep the line in order."
A while later, the completely exhausted blacksmith muttered with soulless eyes, "I burned myself out."
The male lead chatted with the beaming streamer, "Amazing. Almost everyone's enchantments succeeded. Leon, your buff is the real deal."
He modestly praised the smith. "No, the blacksmith simply has great skills." Uragam walked by, muttering, "My server's first +5 title lost its value in a blink of an eye."
A handsome, blonde poet appeared enthusiastically. "Habiol, Uragam, I heard your enchantments succeeded. I've composed a celebratory song for you. Do you want to hear it?"
Plucking his instrument with chaotic, aggressive energy that emitted distorted blue notes, the poet sang loudly, "Oh, congratulations. May your light reside within the hammer." The male lead asked if she knew him, and she replied, "He joined our party somehow.
When he's around, those goblins don't dare come near us."
Resting his chin on his hand in serious contemplation, he recalled memories of Tia. "Right, a high elf's hearing is extremely sensitive. No wonder she hasn't been able to hear me lately, even when I call her from right beside me. But that soul color, it feels so familiar." Remembering a well-dressed man from his past life who was smiling brightly, Jinwoo's inner voice echoed as the system revealed the traits
of the poet, B-rank idle trainee, indomitable.
"Big brother?" Seeing him disappointedly cover his face, she went to ask, but the male lead said it was nothing.
2 high-ranking guild leaders nearby caught the male lead's attention.
The woman spoke up, "I'll take the lead, so you lot just follow without a word." The male guild leader replied, "Well, hunting dogs usually go first, so I'll let you do that."
Glaring back at him, the female leader growled fiercely, "What? Is this bastard out of his mind?" Level 12, Life Hunt. Title, Versatile Hunter. Position, Hunter Class Guild Leader. He smirked threateningly, "Don't bark so loudly, I feel like boiling anything that barks at everything." Level 11. Northern Grand Duchess. Title, Manhwa Guild Villain Slayer. Position, Warrior Class Guild Leader. She hissed with killing intent, "Look at that attitude. Want to settle this right now?" The red-haired warrior radiated a terrifying aura, prompting him to calmly raise his hand to intervene. "Wait a moment, heroes. We're about to set out, so instead of that, why not go fight the goblins?" They immediately recognized him, and the scarred hunter apologized, "Oh, I've shown you a shameful side of me." Looking at them with wide eyes, he recognized their faces from the real world. "Wait, these people look familiar, too. Grandpa and my sister, so that's Grandpa's new body. But let's put that aside for now." He remembered his sister Jean Wu's previous personality. "I made some ramen. Do you want to eat?" "Jean Wu, look at this. Isn't it cute?" Now, instead of that gentle personality, she was shouting loudly, getting hyped, "You bastards! Kill them all." He thought to himself, "Why did my sister become like this? Anyway, I can't believe they both started guilds and became guild leaders." To start a guild during this event, you need 1,000 contribution points. Even playing without resting, reaching 1,000 points is nearly impossible. The B Corporation, is it being operated properly? Suddenly, excited voices erupted from the massive crowd gathered behind him. "Oh, it's Leon. Leon, you're here. We gathered to defeat the goblins. We gathered after hearing the request from you and Habiol." The male lead spoke up with sad eyes. "Thank you for responding to my request." She replied, "Of course. You helped us, after all." The male lead read out a series of names participating in this journey: Naru, Stin, 18 Honeypot, Nanim, Landum, Lining, Syme, White H, Carrying Prince. "Everyone has grown up so wonderfully. Fighting alongside you heroes is my greatest honor. Will everyone grant me this privilege?" The massive crowd roared in unison, "Of course. Let's do this." "Yeah." Smirking confidently with a brilliant gleam of leadership in his blue eyes, he ordered, "Great, let's move out." The male lead stood majestically facing the giant city gate where rows of NPCs stood at attention. Fading into a pure white sky, anticipation rose. Hena shouted commands to the town guard. "Knights of Yen, salute the heroes." Striding forward with absolute authority, the male lead led a sea of enthusiastic heroes with the confidence of someone who already had a plan. Walking under a sky glowing with vibrant orange sunset colors, a massive army of proud heroes marched forward. The energetic warrior said, "Whoa, Ru is really pumped, huh? This view makes me want a drink." The guy behind him added, "I brought some fruit wine. Want some?" The blonde poet scribbled frantically in his notebook. "Ah, looking at such beautiful scenery, inspiration is flowing through me non-stop. Better write it down before I forget." The bald guy beside him roared angrily, "Can you stop playing that weird heavy metal music, please?" Bathing in the golden glow of the brilliant sunset, he walked at the vanguard amidst the noisy crowd, thinking, maybe because we consider this a game, it doesn't feel too serious. No, this is enough. If we force them to fight, they'll be no different from slave labor. From now on, let's keep selecting heroes, training them, and helping them grow and fight. A respectful voice spoke from the other side of the magical connection. "Sir, as you said, we've finished investigating the heroes and fostering them. We've transferred all support from the mage tower over there, so there's no problem." Tia chimed in, "We're ready, too. The goblins have gotten stronger. Look forward to it." Halon and Hazman have gone to prepare their parts, and all the villagers who are resting are watching from our secret base. A blinding purple energy blast slammed straight into him, making his deep blue eyes widen. "We should retreat for now." The male lead swung his sword to parry the incoming attack. "Everyone, fall back. This is an invasion attack." Those behind him wondered, a sacrificial ritual right in the middle of the battlefield? Erupting from the dark earth at terrifying speed, countless writhing purple tentacles rose up, gazing up at the massive, chaotic dark energy mass in the sky. "What the hell is that?" The tentacle shot toward the female streamer and grabbed her before she could move to dodge. A boom shook the earth and sky, as the sword unleashed a brilliant golden blast of light that tore through the night. Enveloped in crackling, brilliant golden lightning, the heroic Prince Leon roared powerfully, "Ah! A little." Directing his full divine power down onto the battlefield,
a giant pillar of blinding golden lightning completely wiped out the dark tentacles in a blast that shook space itself.
Turning to look at his stunned party members, "Is everyone okay?" Trembling, Habiol stammered, "Yes, thanks to you." His sister followed up, panicked, "Hey, wait. There's something wrong with the sky."
Casting a shadow of despair over the ruined, dark battlefield,
a solar eclipse gradually formed as the brilliant sun was completely devoured by thick, black and red tentacles of corruption. A black sun? Haunting echoes reverberated across the desolate wasteland with a painful, rhythmic thump, thump, thump. Rising from the jagged cliffs bathed in eerie red light, a pack of heavily armed goblins growled and stretched, baring sharp teeth and bloodlust. "Everyone, I think we're really screwed. There are too many of them. This is an actual war."
Shaking violently as sweat poured down her pale face, Habiol realized the cruel reality while her chat exploded with panicked messages. "The scale is insane.
Who planned this? Holy crap. Exactly. True dark fantasy style. What kind of friend rescue campaign is this?" He analyzed the seemingly impossible siege, so it was a trap.
They were waiting for us. To set up a trap this big, they must have known beforehand where the conquest force was starting from and how massive its scale would be.
His sister growled, adding, "That means there's a traitor inside Avent.
And that is our main character."
Ha ha ha. Tia controlled a goblin and roared, "That will never happen."
The players looked in despair at the overwhelming enemy forces. Look at their numbers, and there's even a crazed ancient dragon.
We're done for.
Dropping his gaze, a silent shadow fell over his handsome face.
He took all the blame upon himself. "It's all my fault. The heroes aren't ready to face that evil dragon on their own yet. I will return the heroes to Avent with a snap of my fingers."
A wide teleportation magic circle appeared around the bewildered players. Shining brightly with a star icon on the system interface, Leon is using all his power to return you to Avent.
Do you accept?
If you die on the battlefield of the demonic spirits, you cannot revive an Avent within 3 days. Death penalty increased by 50%.
The female streamer shouted, "What about you?"
Leon turned his head slightly with a melancholy but heartbreakingly beautiful smile without saying a word.
Habiol was shocked to realize the heartbreaking truth unfolding before her eyes. "If he sends us all back, Leon will be left behind alone.
Even if I have to die, I still want to fight alongside Leon until the end." The warrior excitedly raised his weapon and shouted, "Well done, hurry up."
A Valhalla warrior never backs down. "You really think we'll shrink before that trash? Let's fight, hunters, get ready to hunt. Tonight's dinner will be goblin meat.
I'll turn you into a goblin armor army."
"How's your goblin hunt going? Let me play a song in honor of everyone."
"It'll be a long time before we back down from that trash." Turning back with wide, surprised eyes at his army burning with the determination to fight, he sincerely warned them of the extreme danger waiting. "Heroes, this time will be much harder than the last."
"Is everyone really okay with that?"
Clenching his fists with fiery eyes, Habiol shouted firmly, "Of course."
Standing tall to face the challenge, Prince Leon gave an emotional smile of a true hero. "Thank you all.
As long as the heroes don't give up, even if this soul is shattered, I will still stand by your side." Pure divine power erupted from the blade, enveloping the entire army in a blinding stream of holy light.
"Is this a buff effect? I can feel an incredible source of power." Pointing his glowing sword straight ahead, the male lead let out a deafening, heroic roar.
Arzilan stood fearless on the cracked, fiery land with his weapon raised high.
The massive army of Earth gamers roared fiercely as they charged straight into the sea of bloodthirsty goblins.
Sitting comfortably in the secret control room, the old blacksmith asked, "Now that the battle has truly begun, but tell me, Tia, if the heroes choose to retreat, isn't the biggest risk that they will all be corrupted?"
Tia clicked away on her controller as she explained, "It doesn't matter anyway. No matter what, they won't be able to escape. Since the plot is being forced to progress, that part will be skipped." Hearing that, the blacksmith replied, "Ah, as expected of Miss Tia."
She secretly admired the terrifying genius of her master. In that case, perhaps they had given up on expecting anything from the heroes.
But Jin Woo was right.
Those heroes from another world were truly fighting against the monsters for our sake.
And since that is the case, then I must give it my all, to wipe them out completely.
The warrior raised his shield high. "Shield squad, advance.
Activate shield bash.
Burn them all to ashes." Ramming his heavy shield straight into the enemy, creating a bone-shattering collision, a system panel appeared. E-rank shield bash skill. Use the shield to charge at enemies to deal impact damage, causing a stun effect on hit enemies.
Effectiveness is influenced by the shield's defense stat. Ha ha ha, this is what it feels like to use a +5 shield.
The bastards jumped out from the bloody chaos of the battlefield. A goblin raised a wooden staff and slammed it down with a shrill screech.
Ugh, block it. Everyone, hold the line.
He raised his sturdy wooden shield to deflect the lethal dive attack from the air. Players were knocked back one by one, their bodies taking critical damage. Just then, the male lead dashed over and called out to Uragam, "I'll get past them." He stepped on his shield to launch himself high. Using all his strength to pretend, he shouted,
and slashed down with lethal force. Prince Leon tore through the darkness with a sharp, resonant whistle. He landed, shattering the ground and sending the goblins flying backward. Standing majestically amidst the bloody battlefield of slaughter while the terrified goblins took the brunt of the attack.
The explosion gradually subsided as the smoke cleared, his deep blue eyes bright with unshakable determination as he said, "I will protect the heroes." With her eyes wide and bloodshot with rage, his sister roared fiercely to rally the army's fighting spirit. "Leon has shown us how it's done.
Valhalla warriors, attack!"
Following the thundering footsteps that shook the earth, the army of players simultaneously raised their weapons and charged like a tsunami of burning spirit. She swung her giant axe, tearing through the wind. With a sharp whistle, the purple goblin vomited blood, and was completely finished off.
She smirked slightly as the monster shrieked in agony.
The mage squad unleashed their most powerful elemental magic, accompanied by ear-piercing bangs and zaps, as fireballs, wind blades, and magic missiles slammed into the middle of the monster formation. The magical blasts shook the earth, incinerating the goblins in a sea of brilliant golden flames.
Ugh, there are too many. At this rate, I'm about to run out of mana. A female mage anxiously asked, "Did you bring enough potions?" Frowning helplessly, the male mage replied, "It might not be enough."
The singer behind him thought to himself, "Everyone is fighting with all their might. This is the heat of the battlefield.
If that's the case, I will play a battle anthem dedicated to everyone." His song left the mage squad wide-eyed in amazement.
Feeling the pure energy flowing in the air, the black-haired mage exclaimed. As soon as he started playing, mana began to gather around his body.
So playing music restores his stamina and mana? If anyone is low on mana, absorb it from the romantic poet. I am very willing to continue playing. If my performance gives everyone strength to receive the invaluable buff.
He shouted excitedly, "Oh, if my performance can help, I'm more than willing." Swinging his weapon, he plunged into the melee with a completely new momentum.
The players smashed the goblin formation with resounding clangs and bangs, pulling the bowstring until he was drenched in sweat. Habiol focused intensely on her target. Bit by bit, we are moving forward. No matter how many goblins there are, at this rate, we might actually win.
Suddenly landing from the air onto the ground with a shocking stomp, a massive shadow blew away the surrounding players.
What is that? Something just fell from the sky? Oh, that's the hero slayer. Slamming his giant axe into the ground with a heaven-shaking boom,
the monster unleashed a wave of purple magic that tore everything apart. The corpses of countless purple goblins were scattered everywhere before their fingers suddenly twitched and stirred, resurrected from the dead by dark power with a creepy crunching sound. The goblin corpses slowly stood up, making the players scream in terror. Holy crap, the dead goblins are standing up.
Ugh, come on, you've got to be kidding me. How can we possibly win?
The system confirmed 639 surviving heroes, then it gradually decreased to 579. Players screamed in despair while the ruthless system board updated the number of surviving heroes, 509. Charging straight at the boss, the male lead shouted, "Your opponent is me."
It bared its fangs and roared hysterically.
The hero slayer frantically pushed its weapon forward, blocking his surprise attack with lightning-fast reflexes. He swung his sword one more time, slicing its body into two pieces, making the players explode in joy. Leon has destroyed the hero slayer.
Woo! Suddenly, purple magical thorns shot out, piercing the corpse of the fallen goblin.
The dark tentacles began to inject their evil magic.
Looking on, the purple aura blazed intensely. Leon and Habiol's group stood in stunned silence. Smirking sinisterly to reveal sharp fangs, the hero slayer was completely reborn once again and roared defiantly. He furrowed his brows in tension while Habiol stammered in fear, "Leon, what is this?"
Pointing his finger toward the dark tower rising high, the male lead analyzed the situation with a grave voice. "Do you see that black pillar? Inside, the magic mana chamber is continuously summoning and resurrecting them through a magic circle."
She asked anxiously, "How do we stop it?"
He decisively placed his trust in his comrades. "If I'm not mistaken, there will be an energy core in the center. I will do my best to break through and clear the path, so you heroes. Interrupting him with a radiant, confident smile and firmly clasped hands, Habiol promised, that's right, we will destroy that core. Regaining a powerful fighting spirit, the male lead charged forward, leading the army. Good, let's go together. Following closely on the heels of their commander with thundering steps, the players rushed into the frantically roaring monsters that surged like a bloodthirsty purple flood. The goblins crazily raised their weapons to stop them. Gripping the hilt of his sword with both hands, while golden lightning bolts erupted around him, he poured all his divine power into the decisive slash. The male lead activated a blinding explosion of light, roaring as he swept everything in his path. The brilliant golden lightning storm incinerated hundreds of goblins with a terrifying whistle, carving a straight path through the dense sea of monsters leading directly to the Dark Tower pillar. The group of players rushed toward the open path, running frantically with bows drawn, when they were suddenly ambushed by the hero slayer, who lunged forward with lightning speed, and he used his armored shoulder to take the hit. He protected her just in the nick of time. She screamed while the male lead gritted his teeth, bearing the corrosion of the purple aura. Turning, he launched a sharp sword strike with his last bit of strength, coldly finishing off another approaching enemy. Kneeling on the parched ground while Habiol screamed in panic, Leon, raising his head with a tired smile, but his eyes glowed with an unquenchable flame of determination. He ordered, look straight ahead, keep running, we'll keep this path open. The system coldly announced the number of surviving heroes, 192. Collapsing in total exhaustion, the mage gasped in despair, damn it, I'm completely out of mana. Forget it, if I'm going to die by the goblins anyway, I might as well self-destruct. Mana detonation ignited all remaining energy in his body into a brilliant bomb. The heroes screamed one last time. Number of surviving heroes, 42. Gritting his teeth, Habiol ran for his life with sweat pouring like rain, looking in despair at the Black Tower still obscured by tens of thousands of monsters. Ugh, are there still this many? You two, keep going until the end. He stopped and pulled the bowstring, glowing with an extremely blinding emerald light. The female streamer unleashed her ultimate skill. The spirit arrow rain showered down on the goblins like a beautiful emerald meteor shower, piercing all enemies. Falling backward, Habiol gave a radiant smile and entrusted her final hope. Ha! You guys must destroy that core. Now, only the last two players remain standing before the monster's most solid defense. The male lead's grandfather shouted, Ugh, don't stop. We can't let the sacrifices of Teacher Rin and our comrades be in vain. His sister replied gruffly, I know, old man, stomping hard on the ground to create an extraordinary burst of speed. Both heroes launched themselves into the fiery sky like arrows of vengeance, combining all their remaining strength into a single attack. They plunged into the brilliant red core crystal with a jarring clang. Unable to withstand the terrible pressure from the critical strike, the dark crystal immediately cracked with crunching, shattering sounds. We did it, we destroyed the core. So this is the end. Suddenly, from inside, a skeletal hand appeared. Who told you it was the end? They opened their eyes in utter, speechless horror. They were buried in death as a death entity with glowing red eyes slowly rose from the dead. Arrogant trash, you won't be leaving here alive.